Hello everyone, it's Cleo here, and today we're going to be answering the question, why did Hasbro feel the need to create Equestria girls? On the face of it, it seems like a very strange move to turn the characters of a franchise called My Little Pony into human beings. So what exactly inspired such an oddball spin-off? Well, as you probably know, when My Little Pony was relaunched with the cartoon Friendship is Magic in 2010, the next 2 years saw the series, and therefore the entire franchise, grow massively in popularity. This growth was completely unprecedented, and although the franchise was a big deal throughout the 80s with its original iteration, it certainly didn't have the same intense fanbase that G4 garnered throughout the early 2010s. With this strong fanbase came a lot of fan art, and among many dubious ideas, one in particular stood out as being an exceptionally popular concept among fans of all ages: the beloved main 6 characters as human girls. The folks at Hasbro definitely saw these and the potential of the idea. While the idea of turning the ponies into girls doesn't improve the story of the series even one little bit, it provided this toy company the opportunity to expand the MLP line into the ever-popular fashion dolls. This is likely because, at this same time, Mattel was having a huge success selling their Monster High fashion dolls. Unlike Barbie, these dolls were brightly coloured with oddball magic and backstories. They weren't ordinary girls, but they did have the very ordinary setting of just being high school students. This is noteworthy, as the main 6 ponies of FIM are all depicted as being grown-ups with jobs. If you were going to adapt the ponies' lives into their human world equivalent, they wouldn't be in high school, but the success of Monster High, of course, meant that Hasbro would copy everything it could to replicate its success when their pony dolls went on the market. So they set the human versions of the pony's story in a rather boring American-looking high school. It seems doubtful the success of Equestria Girls hinged on whether or not the girls were in school, but companies don't like to leave these things to chance. So to high school the girls went at the expense of the story. So the odd juxtaposition of the creation of Equestria Girls is that they listened to fans to make it happen at all, but then just copied a franchise their fanbase didn't generally think as much of. Despite the oddity with this plan, Hasbro announced in 2013 that they were releasing a feature-length film for this new spin-off, which would send the pony heroes on a mission to a new world where they can take on a human form. As they had the same creative teams on this film as the main pony series, Season 3 of FIM was made half the length of the previous 2 seasons, which seems like a big sacrifice to make, but it shows the faith the company had in these odd-looking human characters being popular. Sadly, the whole plot of the first film goes pretty much completely against what made the Pony TV series so popular. Where the show had a creative fantasy universe with female leads with goals beyond being popular, the Equestria Girls movie finds a way to reduce these same characters to being as shallow as any other all-American high school story cast. They do this by having our new villainess, Sunset Shimmer, steal Twilight's element of harmony, a magical item and not just a piece of jewellery, and find a way to quickly reduce it to being a battle between these 2 girls to become what is essentially Homecoming Queen. There is bullying in the film, which not only is dull and seen it all before, but is exactly the kind of cliché FIM very deliberately avoided. They fell into plenty of tropes, but not the trappings of a high school drama. That's just not what the series was about. But because high school is the setting for Monster High, that's the way this film had to be. Now, of course, they could have done something at least a little bit more original, even within the limits of a US high school, but they didn't. They gave us shallow bickering, makeovers, a popular mean girl, and a boyfriend with absolutely no personality. To still attempt to appeal to their male fanbase, they added in a super battle at the end, which of course just felt out of place at this point in what was otherwise a high school comedy drama. Despite this film being such an obvious downgrade from the main series, it must have been popular, as it had 3 more feature-length films after this point, despite there being no initial plans to make any movies past the first one. The next films do at least try to introduce more magic and answer some of the rather obvious questions the existence of this human world raised in the Pony universe. The sequels were also made at the same time the main series was continuing to slowly but surely decline in quality. So the gap wasn't quite as large as when it started. As a side note, after the films, the Equestria Girls series kind of just goes on and on and on and on, and I'm not sure if anyone knows what's going on anymore by the time you get to the YouTube shorts. These factors, however, do not do much to redeem the Equestria Girls series from its overall feeling of complete and utter redundancy. It's all the same characters as we know and love from the TV series, but made far less unique by reducing them all from working young adults to teenage schoolgirls. They could have made all new characters, but at that point it would have had absolutely no links to its source material, which really proves how unnecessary it was for Equestria Girls to be linked to My Little Pony in the first place. Of course, I don't really know how well the dolls sold relative to their rivals in Monster High, but I can say they didn't compete in terms of product quality or lasting fanbase. Hasbro feeling the need to use My Little Pony's popularity to make a doll line popular would be like Mattel making Barbie Monster Girls instead of making Monster High its own thing. Mattel at least had some faith in their product developers to make something popular without the hand-holding from a bigger franchise. Maybe I'm being too harsh though, as I never did understand the need to make ponies into people. As I mentioned, many fan artists must have loved this idea to devote so much time to making original designs for such reinterpretations. At the time, there were concerns that these ponies were being turned into human girls for, let's say, unsavoury reasons, which I do know is true, but it's not every artist's reason at all. People did genuinely want to see ponies as humans, even if they didn't have some weird waifu ideas. The question is whether or not anyone really wanted it to be made the way it ultimately was. With virtually all the factors that made FIM so good being erased in favour of replacing them with sins from just about every rubbish high school film, there really wasn't any reason for fans of MLP to enjoy the premise of Equestria Girls. I could be wrong, but I think the fanbase was just so devoted at the time that they would have watched My Little Pony Trash Bag Girls, which goes to show just how much people loved My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. There would have been a way to make the ponies into humans while maintaining a more fantastical world and originality, but I don't think that would have saved it from the feeling that it just wasn't necessary. It perhaps just would have made a film you could watch for more than just one musical number. But now you know how and why Equestria Girls was brought to screens, even if I'm not sure why it was so successful that it kept being brought back to our screens one way or another for 7 years. Maybe I'm just missing something. But of course, as always, I would love to know what you think to all of this in the comments below. Did you like Equestria Girls? Didn't you like it? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.